So, so can Liz Truss survive, or will she go down, dragging the property market and the economy with her? So there has been a mad political arena. It's been mad political arena since Boris, all the scandals going on. We've had mass uncertainty in the political arena at the moment. Then we add to it, a new leader gets elected. As soon as they come in, they bring out a new mini, not so midi budget that absolutely crashes the pan, puts uncertainty in the UK economy when it was already massively uncertain anyway, and creates this massive run on the pan, creates a massive problem with the Bank of England, creates a massive problem with bonds and pensions. So the question is she going to go down, or is she going to survive? She's sacked Kwasi Kwarteng. Every time I hear that name, or every time I say that name, I just feel like saying Kwarteng. I don't know why. It's very immature and childish, but it just makes me feel like doing that. But she sacked Kwasi. She's now elected Jeremy Hunt as a new the new Chancellor of Exchequer. If I said that correctly, we've got a new Chancellor in place. Is he enough to rescue it? There's loads of question marks in here, but look, if you're just tuning into this for the first time, this is my second live on YouTube. If you want any other channels while I'm doing this multiple live, you want to see the recording, it's going to be on my YouTube channel, to make sure to follow on there. Please hit the subscribe button, hit the like if you find any value from this. It really helps the algorithms. But let's get into it. Look, she has had a rough time since she's been in. I'd never really heard of her. I don't really follow politics. What I do is I get an understanding of politics, what's going on as a property investor, to see, because you've got to have an understanding of the wider economic landscape. And if you do not have an understanding of that, it's going to be dangerous if you're a property investor. And to have a wider understanding of the economic landscape, what you need to do is have an understanding of what's going on in the political arena. It comes hand in hand. I'm not into politics, but it does come hand in hand. So we've had all this scandal. Boris got booted out. We've had Liz appointed. But this, look, I felt this is my faults as well, just only my faults, but I felt that the sentiment behind what she wanted to do was good. Like, look, if this encouraged growth upwards, let's have low taxation, that's great. But the timing of that was just awful, be fair. I've done a video on this when it first came out. I said the timing of this, I believe, is awful. And it's turned out to be that the markets have been uncertain of it. It's caused a massive, like, mayhem in the UK economy. But that said, I feel she is a little bit of a scapegoat. I'm not massively on her side or anything. The economy was cracking anyway. We had loads of problems. First of all, they're trying to blame this conflict in Europe about having the problems in the UK, which is added to it. Now Liz has added to it, but then problems were deep-seated, and they've been there for ages in the form of quantitative easing. We've been printing money like never ever in history. More money than ever in history since the '08 crash. It's just been it's like the printing. They're not even printing machines now. They're just ledgers. Somebody's had their finger permanently stuck on the button that adds money to the digital space and adds these noughts on these digital spaces since the '08 crash. And you look at the big players like Ray Dalio, you look at Ray Icon, and all these, is it Ray Icon, Carl Icon, is it? You look at all these big players in there, Warren Buffett, Charlie Munger, they're all saying you cannot print this amount of money, or cannot create this much amount of money, push it into economies without some consequences. The consequences are really coming home to roost now. So we had some other major factors as well. We've had Brexit, we had obviously the big C that you're not allowed to mention, especially on YouTube. We've had these other things that's accumulated to it with a run of printing and a long-term debt cycle coming to the end of that debt cycle. As I said, watch Ray Dalio's how the economic cycle works. Really, really powerful video to give yourself an understanding. But all this is accumulated into the point we're at the moment. And I believe whoever takes that hot seat at the moment and takes that premiership place in the government is going to have a tough time resettling where we're at. There's so much money. This is why we're in a massive inflationary times, and the banks are meant to be no longer quantitative easing, quantitative tightening, which means trying to pull the money back out of the economy. And this was what happened with that Kwasi Kwarteng and Liz Truss initial budget. It's more physical stimulus. You put more stimulus into the market. This is what's a massive cause behind what's been the problem, is the stimulus and the money that's gone into the market, especially at the grassroots level. So previous in '08, the reason there wasn't massive inflation after '08 and all the quantitative easing we had there is because it went into the level of the Bank of England buying bonds and just putting these into the high level on companies and at a high level. This time in COVID, the money come down to the grassroots of people's pockets in the form of bounce back loans around the world. Like America was giving out the stimulus checks. This is going on again. So for me, I still cannot get my head head around it. In Scotland, they have banned landlords for putting up their rents to help the cost of living crisis. But yet they cannot ban landlords are already squeezed. Landlords in Scotland, as far as I understand, please put in the comments if I'm wrong, but I understand they're still subject of the Section 24 tax. They're getting squeezed on taxes, squeezed on compliance. So people are not having massive profits. They've already been capped in Scotland to not allow to increase their rents, basically. Yet energy companies, I'm not against big companies earning money. When people criticise Amazon and Apple for not paying enough tax, I'm on the other side. I'm like, okay, they deserve not to pay so much tax. They put so much tax revenue into and so much input into the economy. Like, I believe they deserve a break. You might hate me for that, but I believe they do. But these big energy companies that are earning record profits in a time when people are massively squeezed, I really just can't get my head around, especially when they can come into landlord space and say, like, landlords, you're capped from earning any more money. I really cannot understand and get my head around how they don't cap them. So, like, one of a part of this mini budget was to say, okay, yes, we're gonna cap the rent, the energy companies, but at the cost of the government borrowing again. It's like, what? I really don't get it. It's different. They said to landlords, right, okay, we're going to cap the rents, but we'll top it up for you. We'll pay the difference. Like, it's bung. It's like, no, you just suffer it, like, as landlords. But anyway, that's just my views. But anyway, look, the writing could be on the wall for her. Is she going to take down the property? Is she going to go down herself and then pull down the property market and the economy with her? We've had Joe Biden publicly come out and say she made a mistake. This don't help. We had Ray Dado come on and said this is just amateur stuff. I can't believe they've done that. We've had King Charles, our new king, when she walks in to meet him, he goes, oh dear. The first response, that's being published across the whole of the internet at the moment as well. The pan massively dropped when she sacked Kwasi Kwarteng. She was already being criticised before she took the hot seat for being somebody that turned around on her policies and changed her policies. So now she took a U-turn, turned it around. They've already took out the 45p tax. They've introduced Jeremy Hunt, and Jeremy Hunt is saying there's going to be some tough decisions, and they're reversing everything they've done. Now she's getting massively criticised what could she do? If she didn't do anything, she would have been criticised. If you've done something, she's still being criticised. But they're now saying, who's in charge? Is it Jeremy Hunt or is it you? Like, and now there's calls for Rishi to come in and settle the ship. Like, it is a political mess, which is not helping us as a country at the moment when we've already got economic headwinds against us. Looks outside of that. This is definitely adding to it. She just took a poison chalice, in my opinion. But that said, she didn't help that poison chalice. She just added to that poison. So at the moment, what's going to happen? The U-turns happen. Is Jeremy going to settle it? Do you think? Put in the comments. I'd love to hear your views. My views is, I think it might be a little too late what they've done, but who knows? But I'd love to hear your views. But my view around this, and the reason I'm jumping on this as well, is I've just done a workshop, and so many people are frightened. Interest rates are going up. They're fighting against inflation. And Andrew Bailey's come out and said, I'm not scared to push this up even faster. But lots of people going, buy-to-let's dead, property's over. And it is for a certain amount of people, but not other people. And I've just done an emergency workshop showing people how you navigate this. I show people how I started my property journey in 2009 and the lessons I learned from 2009 that I've carried forward, and the things I've done wrong, the things I've done right. When the interest rates are the same as they are now, I like to have 30% deposits back then. I was buying at the same sort of price back then, but I show on this workshop, and I've had such a great response. I had loads of people who couldn't make it ask, could I have a replay? If you signed up for this, it's going to be okay. You're going to get a replay in your emails tomorrow. If you didn't sign up, you won't get the replay. But I'm considering doing this another time, just as an emergency one. This is just to navigate the situation we're in now. Property is a massive opportunity. You can do a couple of things. You can leave your money in the bank, and it's 100% losing money to inflation. Or you can hedge it against inflation, against different asset classes. But what asset classes do you choose? Look, you can choose gold, but the thing with gold is you cannot leverage, like property, you can still get 75% loan to value. I love gold. I buy these sovereigns. Just bought these couple the other day. I bought a half sovereign and a full sovereign. But it doesn't pay me my cash flow. It doesn't pay me money in my bank every month that helps me against my cost of living as all the bills and all the costs are going up. Property still does that if you buy the right style property. And I'll show some examples, deals we're doing now, how we're structuring them, and how they beat inflation. So this is the way forward. If you want me to do another workshop, I'm going to leave it to you guys. Stick in the comments. Yes, love to see another workshop, and I'll put another one together. If you want more questions, or you've got any questions and stuff you want me to cover on the workshop, have you put put it in there. But listen, you've got to do something. Leaving in your... At the moment, we've just done a deal and it's due to earn about 2K a month instead of 4K a month. Yes, it's not as nice as 4K a month, what it would have been when the interest rates were ridiculously low. But ask yourself this question: would you prefer to earn 2K a month or leave it in the bank? Because if we're still in trouble, we've got 5-year fix, it's got long-term style tenants in there. Just done one, it's got social housing tenant in there, so guaranteed 5-year fixed income, and it's going to earn still around a couple of grand a year. If you leave your money in the bank, from the last year, it would have lost 25K, the same amount of money it's going to take to buy this deal, would have lost about 1,600 quid. And that's at an average inflation rate of around 6%. At the moment, inflation at 10%. So in 5 years' time, if we're still in trouble and we can't exit this, or the 5-year fix that we've got on this, it still leaves the market in trouble. It's because inflation's been high, and if inflation's still been high and we're still battling the markets, your money would have lost more like £2,500 a year as opposed to £1,600 a year, because the inflation this time last year was lower and it's an average of 6%. It's now sitting around 10%. So what would you rather do? Would you rather earn a guaranteed income, government-backed, although I say government-backed, but guaranteed income for the next 5 years to give you a guaranteed 2K a year, or guaranteed losing money in the next year, and hopefully it turns around, don't lose so much money sitting in the bank, and still hold the asset, and still remember, you often have a bounce back from that. If this is stuff you're interested in, if you're interested in also learning how you can create income around what you do, so what I teach people is how you... The big opportunity for me is packaging deals. But if you want to be a deal sourcer, it's hard. Who wants to be on our social media every day, posting, onboarding investors, having investor calls, taking deals through legals? That's hard. But if you side hustle deal source, that means you can strategically partner with other people so you can move your deals on to them, so you can have the baby without the labour pains, basically. So you have to do this for your own portfolio. Then you can raise 2, 5, 10K, depending on how much effort you put in. It does take effort. You won't be able to do this for no effort, but it won't take no extra effort if you want to build a portfolio. For me, the best place to put your money is in a portfolio. Well, second best place is in a portfolio. The best place is what Warren Buffett says, is to invest in yourself. You are your number one investment. Yesterday, I just bought I spent thousands of pounds again on another training program to help me navigate me and keep me accountable and make me take action. When you pay attention. And there's stuff I want you to do, and I want to pay attention, and I want to do it in a correct order. Like loads of people say to me, why would anybody buy a coaching program? You can get it for free online. Listen, you pay one way or another. You pay with your time or you pay with money. Time is the most expensive thing you'll ever spend. So yes, you can get information online, but there's a massive knowledge action gap. So when you don't pay anything for it, you never often put a value to it and take the action on it that you need to take. That's the first thing that happens when you get off online. Number 2, you have to sift through tons and hours and hours and hours of stuff. So if you get the right guidance, what could take you potentially 2 months, 3 months, 6 months would take you potentially 1 year, 2 year, 6 years to do, maybe not 6, but maybe a couple of years to do, to sifting through it yourself. So it's massively powerful. But look, if you want the workshop, please DM me, do a message, do whatever, and I'll run another emergency workshop in a week or so's time. We've got a massive response for it. Really helps people out in these circumstances. Show them, look, somebody asked me the other day, have I missed the boat of investing with interest rates where they're at? And I said, I thought the same when I started investing in 2009. The '08 crash hit, I started investing, and I thought, have I missed the boat? And as a result at the time, I thought, you know what, let's just get in now. I had to pay 30%, I had to pay 6% interest, 30% deposits back then. And ultimately, the thing I'm gutted I didn't do is educate myself and do some wise decisions. I'll show on the workshop how I made some right moves and some really wrong ones that cost me hundreds of thousands of pounds. But that's what I want to teach you vicariously. But I'm still glad I started. Even with the wrong moves I've done, I'm still better off starting than I would have been leaving my money in the bank, or maybe even just squandering it. So look, give us a yay in the comments if you want me to put on another workshop. But listen, if you don't evolve your ideas, you never live on your own terms. Now is the time to invest. Just make sure you get the right investment vehicle. I feel cryptos are really volatile. I feel the stock market's volatile. Cash is definitely trash and volatile. So where do you put your money? For me, a safe asset class. It's not high returns. It's about mitigating the downside risk. Is still going to be 100% property, but not all property classes are made equal. You've got to make sure you put it into the right style property, relevant to where you are on your journey and relevant to where you are investing in the UK, because macro and microeconomics that goes on. So look, really great today. Really super humbled by all the positive responses I got from today. If you didn't make today but you registered, you will get an email for a replay. If you didn't register and you didn't make it today, Give me a yay. I get enough yays, I'll run the workshop again. It is really, really important that you understand and educate yourself to navigate this time, because it's going to be a massive time of opportunity. But as I said, listen, if you don't evolve your ideas, you never live on your own terms. My why is to live on my own terms. My mission is to help as many people live on their terms using financial education, mindset as a vehicle to do that. So please share this out. If you're on YouTube, please hit that subscribe button if you've not done that already. Hit the bell icon to be notified every time we do these videos. Give us a thumbs up if you didn't do that at the start. And remember, if you don't evolve your ideas, you never live on your own terms. So evolve your ideas, live on your own terms. Have an amazing day, evening, everybody.